Howdy doody, kids. Scott Grove here of GroovyMusicLessons.com with hour number and segment number 20. That's right. 20 hours into the Ask Scott Grove Anything. And this one might actually get us almost through to the original set of questions. And then I copied off some more pages since then. Anything that was actually put on the correct page anyway, which was the original page where all these questions were asked. Again, if you asked a question on another page, I may get around to answering you at some point, but I will only answer the ones on the air, so to speak, that were posted on the correct original page. So I went ahead and printed up all the new stuff today, so just in case I ran out, which I will. So we're back with Dan Melbourne, who was the last question from hour 19, and he asks, sorry if you don't do two questions, but what are all the bands and musicians you've toured with and for? Those have been answered in all the first ones, which no biggie. And those were just the ones that I played for, not toured with. I mean, I've been, opened up for a gazillion acts, and I don't count those as being anything. Opening for people and touring with people and doing whatever is easy, but actually playing for them behind the actual artists themselves is a whole different thing. So again, it goes all the way back to just the original, all your outlaw players, Cash and Waylon and Merle and Johnny Paycheck and all the old guys, and they're all back in the very first one of these I did, so you can get them all there. And as far as all the opening acts, anybody from the 50s through the 90s that was ever on the road probably opened up for them, or was on the road with them doing the tour things. So except for chicks, well, except for Holly Dunn, I guess, if you count her. There's a story there, but I won't tell it. There's a Tanya Tucker story too, but I won't tell it either. Okay, so let's go right on up to Matt Spear. I would just really like to know how you're doing. Really love your videos and really have learned a lot from them. Thank you very much. Thanks, Matt. Again, I'm just getting by day to day, and some days better than others, and this day just required a little coffee to stick with the day. And just watched a movie with the wife, actually, and I would have been asleep for 18 hours straight had it not been for the coffee. But just hanging in, man. That's all I can do, but appreciate it. Thank you. We got Pepper Foxy. Can we meet your wife someday? Any day. She's actually been on here, and then I've got it currently on unlisted right now. I put a video of here where I introduced her to everybody on here, so but then she wanted me to pull it because she's scared to be on camera. She's just that shy, but it's still on there. But I'll see if I can allow her to, or let her allow me to open it up again to show you guys, or you can just write to me and I'll give you the link. You can get right to it, but it's not set to private, it's just unlisted, so if you have a link you can go to it. So she was talked to everybody for, well, I did all the talking. She sat there and shook like a scared rat here for about 10 minutes, but yeah, you can meet her. And also it wants to know, what's the most expensive guitar in your entire collection? Well, currently it's not that expensive, but currently, like you said, it's just this one, which is still plenty, I guess, which is the 64 reverse Firebird. And as far as just what I gave for it, was $14,500 on this one. Okay, and then I've got like 8 of them in here I paid 10 grand or more for, but this here's still the one I paid the most for that's here currently. So, and that will be changing very shortly because got some bigger and better things, or just, well, not maybe not better, but more expensive coming up. All the stuff that's going to be more expensive that I'll be getting, I don't like as much as that. So when you get to the 59 Les Pauls and the 57 and the 62 Strat, the 52 Telly, the your typical crap that everybody thinks they have to have, I'm just going to get them just to have them. But I don't like any of them at all. A Strat without a 5-way, yuck. So neither of those two Strats. The 2 years you have to have the 57 and the 62. I have no reason to have them other than an investment, and that's it. No other reason. Same with the Tellys. I just don't like Tellys unless it's the James Burton Telly right there, and then the one I had made by Le Monde. And then there's a Merle Haggard one there, but it's only got 2 pickups, so it's not anything great. It just cost a lot. So, okay, let's go on up to definitely not Brian. Wonder who he really is. Hey Scott, I would just like to know, how do you cope with death and how quickly life passes? Thanks, and I really appreciate what you do. It's weird. It's, you know, like I had said once before, somebody had asked it, but I'll tell you real quick. Right now, in the back of my head, I can feel it just eating at me. I feel it all the time. It never goes away. It's right at the base of my skull where you first feel the soft part, and it's where like a gazillion, thousand, million nerves all come together. Right at the base of your skull, it kind of goes up like this, your actual skull, and it's right back there is where everything took place. If I push on it, it'll knock me to the flipping ground, and right now it is just, it's barking at me, dude, and I feel it coming. You know, I can feel how much time I have left, and it pretty much matches with what they've told me. So so I've dealt with it long enough to know that it's coming. You know, God, for 7 years I've been knowing it's coming. So how do I deal with it? I'm just ready for it to be done. I called my parents back home in Indiana and told them, you know, 6-7 years ago that I was just, they were saying bye because I was going to go ahead and, you know, off myself, and that was just going to go to sleep. I'm not going to do nothing crazy with shotguns or none of that shit, you know. I'm not leaving a mess for the wife, and it's going to go to sleep out there in the garage, in the van is how I'm going to do it. If anybody wants to know, so just fall asleep with the choking to death there, but I'll be asleep, so no big deal. But, and my wife's like, why don't you just do it with the OD? You know, it's like, I don't know, just cruise out there and do it. But she promised my dad that, and I told her I'd let her, but she told my dad that since my dad had to bury my stepbrother, and hated that, and grew up with him more than he grew up with me, that he can't take 2 of them. So said just keep him alive until I pass. That's my dad's words to my wife. She goes, I will. And I said, all right, damn it. Dad's still hanging in. Today's his 74th birthday. So if I don't just naturally croak before he goes, then whenever he goes, I'm going to go ahead and check out. I'll let her keep that promise, and if I can even hang on that long. So, but that's the plan. So I don't want to stick around for when it gets bad. So I'm not afraid of anything anymore. I'm ready to roll, my friend. I've done my work here, and I'm passing on everything I can, and just having fun. And I know that I'll be my legacy will be here of me being a total dickhead to most people, but to some I'll have been of some help. So that's all I ever wanted, just some recognition for something, and I've got it, so I'm good. So, oh, I guess that's just my door coming open. It does that when I don't close it. Okay, here's from Dave Stars, 45. Hey Scott, I got a few questions. 1, what humidifier would you recommend for your music room? Dude, it really depends on where you're at and if you can get it. Okay, what I do, let's put it this way. I use 4 little ones. I don't use a big one. I change the water in these things like 3 times a day. But I use 3 cold air ones. What are these things? Germ-free, Honeywell. The cold air ones, and what's the other one? The Sunbeam one is actually a heated one with steam coming out of it. But I keep it, since I'm home 24/7 every day, I keep it at exactly 71 degrees in the house. Always. Summer, winter, don't matter. And it gets 115, 120 degrees in here, or outside, for like 3 or 4 months straight. So, and then of course there's never humidity here, so there's always at least 2, 3, sometimes all 4 humidifiers going. So the cold ones are always going to keep up with the lack of humidity out here, to try to keep it even close to 50% humidity in this room. And then I really kick in the hot air one. The noises you hear are the humidifiers running. The fans. Yeah, that noise. And that hot one will burn you. But I use the hot one to really throw lots of real water in the air, and real steam, but to actually raise the temperature in here a little more when I need it, or if I need a sudden goose of a lot more humidity in here because it's just extremely dry, in the desert. So it depends on where you live, how much you really have to go at it. Some people can get by with just one because it's just a little dry in there, and other people need dehumidifiers because too much humidity is worse than not enough, in a way. I guess either one's bad, but you're going to have a lot of bowing and stuff if too much humidity, and then a lot of cracking in your acoustics and in your fretboards if it's too dry. So that's that. So it's a matter of having a hygrometer, which I don't know if I'm not even seeing right there. It just tells you what the temperature and the humidity is in the room, and keep track of it. Try to keep it 50% humidity and, I don't know, 75 degrees or so, just in that basic ballpark. And just keep adding more humidifiers or whatever, but at least have one hot one in there so you can get your temperature up when you need to. If the rest of the house is too cold and you just need to heat the other room a little bit, instead of running a heater, which costs you more money on your utility bills, just have a hot humidifier which uses no filters. All the cold ones you actually have to buy filters for and change them all the damn time. So there you go. Okay, King Gino. Scott, can you send me naked pictures? It's an Anthony Weiner thing. Yeah, what do you want them of? I can send them to you of Lindsay Lohan or David Hasselhoff. You let me know what kind or who you want them of, and I'll send them to you. If you need them of your mom, let me know. I'm sure I'll find them somewhere. Okay. And that's how we handle those questions. Next is going to be from Kyle Saloka, S-A-L-O-K-A. Here's Kyle's thing is, hey Scott. Hey Kyle. Ever play a Kramer bass other than the axe? As you can see in my pick, I've got the old DMZ, the DiMarzio, yep, that I just love. Next question. Yeah, I've played tons of the DMZ basses. Great stuff. I love the Kramer aluminum stuff. I was just looking at a bunch of them today, and I had the Flying V for a long time, the little Duke, the 8-string ones, and just great stuff. Next question. What about Rickenbackers? I will get an old 4001 with the checkered binding, just because. I'm not a fan of the sound or anything, but just to have and to look at. That's it. I understand you play country, but I'm surprised I've never seen you with one. I've had them, the Ricks, and that's the only one I get the 4002 also. I'm not going to get the newer 4003s, but I'll just get an old 60s 4001, but it has to be in like mint shape, and either black or white. It's the only colors I'll settle for, but I'd rather have white if I can find it. So, but yeah, I'll get one. I'll pay through the nose for it, and it will just sit here and do nothing but be sold after I croak, and that'll be it. But I will get one. It's just a cool looking bass. That's probably how Ibanez came up with all these Iceman things. They just kind of did the flip-flop, you know, kind of like the fireman thing, and just turned it upside down, and Ibanez came up with their first original design. Probably stole it off of the 4001 bass. Okay, let's see. No Named Loser. Okay, from No Named Loser. Hey Scott, what are your top 5 electric guitars? My top 5 favorite electric guitars that I own. Some of these are always really open-ended, or just my top 5 favorite electric guitars. I don't know. Also, have you played any of the Loar acoustics? Nope, never heard of them. If so, what are your thoughts? Never heard of them. So, lastly, what would you recommend for a first-time acoustic arch top buyer? I don't like them. I hate them, actually. So I would have no idea for you at all. I truly enjoy watching your videos and hope all is well. Thanks, my friend. I just hate arch tops. I don't like them. Don't know anything about them. Don't care to. So I'm really the wrong person to ask about them. I don't see the reason in them. But if you like them, ask somebody definitely that knows, because I don't. You know, I don't find them desirable in any way, shape, or form. Other people just think they're amazing, but I just don't. And what are my first one that I might have a answer for? What are my top 5 electric guitars? And again, I don't know if that's something that I own now or have owned, or just that exist. So I'll just name my favorite guitars. Again, they're going to be cheap guitars, because they have been my favorite guitars. Again, the Paul Reed Smith SEEG with the without the whammy, just the stop bar tailpiece. Discontinued, but the most in-tune playing axe ever, and the most fabulous playing axe, and you can get them all day long for $300, and that would be number 1. Really, over anything else, anything ever made, ever, at any price. PRS SEEG. They made one earlier, like in the 90s or something. Nothing like that. This is just a actual set neck and everything. And there's 2 things I don't like about it. I don't like that it's a set neck, and I hate the fact that the neck is painted. So I would like to have a bolt-on, you know, sanded neck on it. And other than that, it would be a perfect guitar. Weighs like 5 pounds total. And every one I've ever owned, which was 4, I got one of every finish available. 1 red, 1 white, 1 blue, and then 1 in a Budweiser motif. Perfect. Everything with the whammy bars on them sucked, and everything was out of place for some reason. But the ones with the stop bar tail pieces, every one was perfect sounding, perfect, perfectly intonated all the way up and down the entire neck on all of them. So the best guitars I've ever played. Next would be the PV T26 and T27 guitars, USA, and then you can get those for nothing. And then I would go to the Ibanez, you know, the 80s Roadstar 2s with the 3 single coils, and the Blazers with the 3 single coils, and stuff like that. Just really cheap guitars that smoke anything that has ever been made, as far as I am concerned. So you asked my favorites. So there they are. And then they're all guitars that you can buy for under $300. So that's a beautiful thing too. So those are my favorites, easily, except for the ones I've had custom made, you know, but that's it. Okay, now let's go up to El Guitar Ranista. Hey Scott, I have an Ibanez bass with active EMGs and a crappy very mid EQ. Okay, what would be wrong with that very mid? Oh, I guess he says. The mid-range knob is constantly making these strange popping noises. Any advice on how to fix that? Of course. The only thing, deoxit D5. There you go. Open up the back and go right. There's holes right in the back of all your pots. You've seen them before. Give them a spray inside there with this shit. Move them back and forth. Your knobs about 20-30 times. But that's the only stuff and the best stuff in the entire world. Whether it's digital stuff like you're talking about, or digital amp. Nothing will fix these Johnson Millennium amps that I use, except for this. People have the same problem. You try to turn it up, turn the knob, and that master volume always, or you try to turn the tone knob up and it goes down the value and everything goes crazy. Pull out the chassis and hit everything with that. Run them back and forth. It'll be fine. It'll be brand new forever and ever. Plug them onto your, spray them onto your plug on the end of your cables and running them in and out of your jack, you know, so screw your jack a few times and be great forever. It's a miracle worker. Nothing else. It used to be something called Blue Shower. No, not Golden Shower. Blue Shower. That used to be great, but this stuff is the king of the heap. I just ordered it on eBay and they send it to you. They're not supposed to send it through the mail, but they do. So grab it. It's amazing. The crappy very mid EQ. Again, if you know how to use the very mid, usually it's just a volume for it. You find the frequency with it, then you either boost or cut that frequency. So it shouldn't be crappy at all. It should be very, very useful. Thing is not to have the volume wide open. You only turn the volume wide open on the mid to hear the frequency that you want to boost or cut. You find that and then you pull it back so you're either, it will notch out so it's in the middle so it's not cutting or boosting it, but you find that nasty frequency or that sweet frequency, then you actually use the volume for that very mid and boost it or cut it. Okay, so it's actually a parametric EQ if you actually want to know the name for it. So it should be one of the most useful things on your preamp and your bass. Alright, here's, I've never been able to figure this one out. Tigget, I don't know, T-I-G-G-E, T-I-G-G-E. Cool looking avatar, but I don't know how to pronounce it, so Tigget Tiggy. Don't know. What do you recommend for cleaning my dirty rosewood fingerboard? Same as anybody in the world should be using. Anybody that's using anything other than water is asking for trouble. So, regular tap water in a glass. Take your rag, dip it on your finger like this, dip it down in the glass. Take all your strings off every time you change your strings. Rub the holy shit out of it. It's going to turn black and nicotine-y colored. Then don't keep rubbing dirt in there. Go to another part, keep doing it. Rub it, rub it, rub it, rub it, rub it. When it dries totally, then get some clean area. Rub it all back off, rub it all back off. It's going to get ugly by the time you get halfway down. Get a new dry section. Do it again. That's it. Don't use anything else. Nothing, nothing. No oils. No mineral oils. No lemon crap. Anything. Water. And not very often. Your fingers have plenty of oils in them. That'll be fine. Okay, part 2 of his stuff. And I know I cleaned somebody, or I missed somebody's things. Where am I? Sorry. Oh, who did you vote for? Nobody. I don't vote for anybody for anything. I despise politics in any way, shape, or form. Everybody's criminal or a crook or something, so I'm not voting ever in my life for anything other than to get them out of office. I don't believe in the whole thing. I'm less than proud of any country, so I don't vote. And what do you think about Muslims? People have a right to their religions, but if a country fucks with you, blow the fuck up out of the country. You know, give the innocent people whatever religion they are. Say, I'll give you 4 days to get out of town, but otherwise we're going to nuke the motherfucker. Whoever's going to bury in and stay there, no matter how far they bury in, you know, the nuke's going to get them, so nuke the fuck out of them, no matter who they are, you know. Give them, like I said, anybody wants out, let them find their camel and get out. But if they can't make it out in time, blow them the fuck up. So there's that. Hope that helps. Okay, let's go to Jason Kenny. Do you own a Strat with DiMarzio Fast Track 2 in the bridge position? No. And I never would. If you do, please do a video of the pros and cons and explain if you have a 250K pot or a 500K pots in it. Yeah, never tried one. I just use lace sensors and that's it. Nothing else. So no DiMarzio, never tried a Fast Track 1 or 2, so I'm not into hot rodding guitars. I think they should be however they came, unless you're going to just make it sound better and not hot rod it, because I never put in anything that boosts the lead position for any reason. There's no reason for it for me. So sorry I can't help there. Here's BDG Big Damn Dick. Oh, Big Dick Guy. No, I'm teasing. BDG number 6 says, I'm thinking of using a 10.5 gauge set, as I feel my 10 set gets a little too loose when I hit the strings fairly hard. I figure the heavier strings won't move as much, but I also figure if the 10.5 strings move less, they won't go as sharp as the 10 set does. You're thinking correct. So in your experience, have you noticed any differences in tuning stability when changing string gauges? Tuning stability, none at all. Tone, none at all. But as far as the actual, what you're talking about as far as the strings vibrating, being tighter, yeah, they're going to be tighter. And just don't get too exaggerated with them, because you know you're going to have a point where your truss rod isn't going to handle the pressure, so you're going to snap a neck. You know, chances are you won't do that till you get up to like 13 gauge strings and you're tuning still in standard tuning. Then you're asking for trouble. But yeah, I'll go ahead and fire up and use whatever gauge you want and make it feel right, and if you think you hear different tones or whatever, so be it. But yeah, you're not going to hurt anything. And yeah, you're just going to have to tighten the truss rod up just a little bit. Not much, just enough to, because you're going to put extra tension on that neck, so you're just going to have to tighten it up half a turn, quarter turn maybe. But you'll be fine. Make it yours, man. Work it. So yeah, half a gauge ain't gonna kill you. You're just gonna, like I said, make half a crank or a quarter crank on the truss rod, and you'll be good to go. Your intonation will be off just a little bit, so you just turn them all just a little, or depending on what bridge you have, you may be able to just take the whole bridge back just a little, and it'll all be fine at once. So. Okay, next one we have Donnie 2600. Scott, could you please give us a history lesson on your career as a professional musician? Perhaps you could mention what bands you were playing with and what gear you used, and funny bar club story. Yeah, that one I'm going to do actually as a separate video. A lot of requests for all the road stories and that kind of thing, and the basic whole Spinal Tap version of it, so you know, all the way down to the girls and the Yeah, all the groupies and the blow and the snow and the, well, same thing. But yeah, I'll give the whole dirty scoop, and it might be 20 hours long too. Might use slideshows and props and, yeah, being rubber sex dolls or something to get that one across, but whatever it takes, man, I'll do it. Okay, here's another one from my friend, Kill Your TV. Said, we had so much great music in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Yep. Why does most of it sound like crap today? Well, let's take a look at it. We'll find out. And most songs sound exactly the same. Are we drinking too much fluoride and damaging our pineal glands? What's happening to our creativity? I hear so many young people say they wish they were born a few decades earlier. I hear the young people saying the same thing too, who wish they were around back when music was, I mean, God, anybody could be a star from as far back as you want to go, up through the 80s and early 90s. It was not hard to be a star. Today it's impossible for the most part, and it's stupid what it is today, is what it is. If you, it's just a whole different ball game. People are just weird, dude. It's, as far as music sounding bad back then, it's, other people think it just sounds great, especially, you know, these weird audiophile people that love to listen to everything on vinyl and the pops and the cracks, and it just don't sound as good if it's on a CD. It's like, you're out of your fucking mind. But if that's what you're into, that's what you're into. Remixes, you know, you didn't ask about them, but you know, I just like my shit the way it was when I heard it. I don't listen to music, so there are certain things though that I just love the sound of. If anybody ever wants to go check it out, Conway Twitty doing a song, and he is an amazing singer no matter what anybody thinks. The guy is dead on, and he gets that little crack in his voice like that there that nobody else could do and sing a whole song like that, but it sounded great. But a song called Slow Hand that he covered, the guitar tone on that is just phenomenal. It's just dry, but it's just compressed, overly compressed like crazy, and that is my favorite guitar tone, along with, you know, the Sultans of Swing like everybody else. That guitar just sounded great. But yeah, listen to the same lick all the way through on Slow Hand by Conway Twitty, and you'll hear my favorite guitar tone, and that never gets old. I crank the shit out of that song if it ever comes on the radio, which I'm never listening to the radio, but in case I'm going to a gig and I have to have something on, if that comes on, I crank up that song of all things. And then the backmasked part of Paul Simon's Call Me Al, of the bass guitar part that they play backwards and mask it, and it's overly compressed too. Sounds amazing. But back to your question, whatever that was. Yeah, the music, there went, you talk about the music back when. Why does most of it sound like crap today? I don't think it does. It dates itself, but I don't think it sounds any different. Then again, I may not be getting the gist if it's this fidelity, or does it just sounds different because it's dated sounding, or what? What happened to our creativity? It's gone. It's gone. Okay, going to Alex Hollins next. Never seen you with a Hamer. How do you rate them? Great guitars. The old ones were, and then of course the ones that weren't shit. I had Daytona, which I really liked. I loved that guitar. USA crap, of course. You know, the old Explorer looking things from the 70s were cool, which were the what were they, just the standards. Yeah. The Hamer Standard is what they called their Explorers. And they were right there with everybody else who were with Ibanez in '75 who were making the Destroyers, but they looked just like the Explorers. And that got Gibson in '76, actually '75, but again, as soon as Gibson saw Hamer and Dean and Ibanez all doing the Explorers and the V's again, you know, then they started re-releasing them again. So it took all these other companies putting out Gibson's designs for Gibson to put them back out again. But the other companies were making better. Ibanez made way better. Everybody makes better guitars than Gibson does. But yeah, Hamer, I'm gonna get an old, just a '70s one, and possibly a double cutaway, you know, like Les Paul carved top with 2 P90s in it. Get one of those, just to have, because since they're gone, I'll get one again. But my Daytona, I should never have got rid of that, except for it had the Duncans in it, and I hate Seymour Duncan pickups with all of my heart. So, and I like to keep my guitars original, so the guitar had to go. If it wasn't for the pickups, I would have kept it. Okay, next we have, I can't quite see the thing there, CSFE00. Hi Scott, hey, I've been watching your reviews for a few months now and I dig them. Cool, thank you. Just question, what was the first Kiss song that you heard that made you a lifelong fan? Again, it comes right down to the same one every time, which is Love Her All I Can. That was just a song for me. All the ones everybody else likes, I hate, and the ones everybody else hates, I like. But Love Her All I Can, I think, is one that a lot of people dig. And then another one was Let Me Know. It was just so laden, meaning filled, with all the Chuck Berry licks. And that's what Ace did. Most everything he did was from Chuck Berry. You know, so, and then, but at the end with that harmonies, let me know, whoa, you know, just everybody had great harmonies at the end of that song, and all of a sudden, you know that whole thing. It was just cool to hear that jam, and it's just, it was Kiss's version. I think that whole little part there, and then they would stick it in different songs later because they would not do Let Me Know, but they would always have to do that jam, so then Ace could go into his solos, because his solos were always in the key of A. No matter what year, what decade, anything, his solos are always in the key of A. But actually A flat, since they're tuned down half a step. But it was that little ditty at the end that he would always do his solos after, so they would put it somewhere in a song that was in A, after a song that was in A, so he could keep going. But yeah, that was the Bohemian Rhapsody in the middle, where Wayne's World, they all start jamming in the car. That's the part that got me going, was that little after Let Me Know. But Love Her All I Can is the song that stuck with me and pounded in my head, and I have to play it every single time I get a new Kiss guitar or bass or anything. It's just, that song has to be the first song I play, is Love Her All I Can. When I plug it in, before I even demo it for y'all, I just have to play that song. It's just my tradition. Hey, let's go to Kyle Soloka, or Salaka. Got plenty of time here. Hey Scott. Hey Kyle. Can you check out some of my songs? Most certainly. Mostly covers over at my channel. I'll do that for sure. Let me mark you. I'm just going to do it right here and make notes. check out Kyle's originals. Sharpie. There is no substitute. Nobody wants a dolly. Gotta have a Sharpie. Okay. Rate them however you like. If it sucks to you, say it. I just want to know your opinion on some of my stuff. Thanks, Kyle, aka the Super Kid. You got it, buddy. I'm there. I love checking out new tunes. Like I said, there's only two kinds of music to me, and that's good and bad. I don't care about the genre. I don't care if it's rap. I don't care if it's country. If it's country and rap mixed together, then that's crap. But yeah, it don't matter what it is. It's good or bad. Here's from My Guitar Picks. It says, can acidosis be cured or controlled by proper diet? Oh, this guy's got all the fun questions. Sure, why not? Is Edward Snowden a traitor or a hero? I don't care. I just hate that stuff. Do you believe in God? Nope. From a Christian perspective? Nope. Is the USA getting worse due to the bias towards leftist views, socialism, hyper? The USA is just gone. I'm not proud of it in any way, shape, or form. I know, get the fuck out then, as far as some people are concerned. I have no pride. I have no patriotism. I have no anything for any of the world, actually, but it's getting worse, of course. And also, have you ever played the Ibanez Red Beach RBMNT model? Nope. No. If it's Ibanez, it's going to have to be a Iceman or a Paul Stanley thing from Japan. Otherwise, I just won't play it unless it's an older 70s Ibanez. Then I'll check it out and see if I want to bring it home with me. Okay, we're actually down to page number 2 from the original set of all the things. So I've almost reached my goal of the original set of questions on the date that I printed them on, and when I said I would do it on the 15th. And then everything else is just because. That'll give me a few more videos, but I'll get those too. Tony is your pal. Says, okay. So you got me with the no power on a desert island for an amp thing. So let's assume it's a tropical desert island before we have discussion about what exactly defines a desert. And you can have a solar power to power the amp. Okay, I've answered that anyway. About the amp and the guitar and everything else that I would take, which would be the Paisley Strat, the Johnson Marquee amp, if I'm only allowed to take one pedal, and then of course my compressor, my Boss CS3. Okay. And also before that, up here again, it says the usual smart answer to the desert island instrument is a grand piano. So you can use it to build a life draft to get off the island. Was too busy covering that angle to worry about power supplies for the amp. But he had asked not what instrument should I take, but what guitar. If he asks what guitar I'm going to take to a desert island, I can't very well answer a grand piano. So, still 0 for 2 there, my friend. Okay. Oh, here's some guy that pretended he was me. He got banned. And he actually made a video for me for my dumb motherfucker video, and used it and then redid it and everything, and I got him kicked off for copyright infringement. So he went by all kinds of different Scott Groovier, Scotty Grooviest, and whatever the fuck he was. But anyway, he's been fucked up for copyright infringement, so he's gone. Okay, here's Steven 11359. He always puts about 20 in a row on here. Do guitar picks make a difference? Yes. Ton of difference. ton of difference. How to fix fret buzz. You either raise your action, or you just adjust your truss rod, or you adjust your truss rod and lower your action, and you can still get rid of your fret buzz. If that doesn't fix it, then find the offending fret which is buzzing and file it down just where you need it to, and then recrown it. Fender or Gibson? Neither. Fender before Gibson, I guess, but it depends on the axe. Plenty of Gibsons I've liked more than some of the Fenders, and vice versa. Do you like the Fender Mustangs? I don't know if he's talking guitars or amps. So, don't know. Never actually played either one, so I honestly don't know, my friend. Okay, and from something that I can't see, again, my printer being bad. I don't know if it's Boddisque or if those are both U's instead of D's. Hard to say. Do you still involved with music? I guess he's not from the USA. Do you still involved with music? A fun jam session with some people directing around, DIRECKTEN, around you. Let's see how you in a band the best live sound can create. Hubble double do. Well, I guess I go on because I don't understand a word of that. Sorry, my friend. From James Ireland. If you could meet anybody from history on the condition you played them a song, who would you meet and what would you play them? Anybody from history on the condition that you played them a song. God, I really don't care about anybody. Let's see. Okay, let's do this. Just since I'm so pessimistic on the whole religion thing, okay, I'll go ahead and try to find this Jesus guy, if he exists, or whoever said he was. And then I would play him the rodeo song. Well, it's 40 below and I don't give a fuck. Got a heat on my truck and I'm off to the rodeo. You know, here comes Johnny with a pecker in his hand. I'd change it. Here comes Jesus with his pecker in his hand. He's one ball man and he's off to get fucking killed and all this shit. And I'd make up words to, they're gonna hang you on the cross, gonna spike your head, gonna fuck you dead, and all that shit. And you're gonna come out of a rock about 3 days later, and then blah blah blah. And so I would sing that and just see what the fuck happened, just to see if he's for real or whatever, just so I could finally know. Since if there is anybody real, they're not giving me a sign when I've gave them plenty of opportunities to do so, or to give me any ounce of believing anything, any kind of faith, and I have none, zero, less than zero, because I've been open to whatever. But if you don't perform that little thing that you do on everybody else that lets them know, then I don't give a fuck about you. So as of the moment, I don't give a fuck about you if you exist or don't exist, because you aren't any kind of supreme being if you're letting me feel like this, and you're not going to give me one iota of faith to get through it. So, fuck yeah. Okay, next. Strum Fun. He decided to take over the page with a whole bunch of things. I guess he's alright. How do you spell free bird? He spelled with the U. Free bird. Just change the I to it, or the U to an I, and you got it. His next question. What is the greatest song in the world that you believe holds awesome power? Just by singing it, you feel cleansed and whole again. God. The Barney song? As good as any, I guess. I'm gonna say the Barney song. You know, I touch you, you touch me, we don't tell the family. You know that one. Okay, same person. What would you have enjoyed studying at college? Be back into biology again, and God, anything else? Just microbiology. No music at all. That'd be it. Maybe some computer stuff, just so I could, as far as like website building type of thing, so I could actually do a proper looking website instead of the trashy looking thing I currently use. But okay. Here's something I wrote about. This is the kind of person that really needs to put a shotgun in his mouth and let himself have it. That was to the guy. Oh yeah, that I got him busted on the copyright infringement of my video. And yes, I get copyrights on my videos. As dumb as they are, they're still my pieces of work. So, here's one from Marshall M. G-Man. Or Marshall M.G. Man, so the cheap Marshalls, solid state Marshalls, which if it's clean, that's fine, nothing wrong with that at all. Hey Scott, what's your opinion on Paul Reed Smith guitars and the construction ITNM I know you have owned a couple. Sorry if you already made a video about it. I made many. I could have missed it. I made a lot of videos about them, and I've had a few of the USA ones. Again, the Paul Reed Smith PRS SEEG stop bar tailpiece version. My favorite of all time. I like it much better than any PRS that I've ever played. I like the necks better on the old 80s PRSs. You know, they didn't have that huge heel like they do now. They're starting to feel like a fucking Les Paul, which is worthless. You know, at least the Access Les Pauls are better, but they're still crap. Because they have finish on the neck, and they stop you, and the frets are in the wrong place, and blah blah blah, and you know, Gibson quality control shitty. But yeah, that $300 SEEG, I'm all about it. So the SE series, anything with the whammy from them though, it doesn't work right for some reason. It throws off their whole thing, and it should, excuse me, it shouldn't screw them up like that, but it does somehow. So the stop bar tailpiece SE series and the SEEG for me, which had 3 single coils. Okay, and this would have been right here, folks, the last page of the normal thing. So people who didn't think I could have done it, here's the last page of it. And then I continue from here because the rest are the new questions. So, can I get through here in 7 minutes? I don't know. Here's from Poles38. When did you first start playing guitar? When I was 9. Thanks for all you do. I've learned so much. Thank you, my friend. And from Cha-Cha134. How do you take care of your maple necks? If you do anything besides truss rod and stuff. Water on a rag. Wipe them whenever I change the strings. That's it. How many kids do you have? None. And wives, 2, if you are married more than once. I'm on my 3rd wife. First 2 said I was actually too nice and wanted a bad boy, and they went and got him and got the fuck beat out of him, and they got their bad boys. And finally, what's the coolest thing you've ever done? Coolest thing I've ever done. Well, I'll tell you what I thought was the coolest, other than just flat out just learning to play music, was just the day that I graduated high school. I graduated, of course, with exactly how many credits I needed and with exactly what I needed to just get through it and be out of there, because I knew what I was going to do with my entire life, so that was not an issue. I had the cap and the gown on, just hanging open and everything. Went up and got my stuff and got my diploma, took my hat off, threw it on the ground, took my gown off, threw it on the ground. This is right there with the principal and the people handing out the diplomas and shit, and dropped it and just walked out and drove home, and that was it. Didn't even stay for everybody else, just never saw the reaction, didn't care. I wasn't looking for a reaction, so that's it for me. I know it's not the coolest thing. I jumped off the Grand Canyon, if that's cool. But I think the other thing was cooler. And meeting the KISS guys a few times, doing some work there and other things, but in my memory, and I never planned on for like 10 months or anything of doing the cap and gown thing. I know it seems so trivial, but it's just what I thought of when I got out there. It's like, fuck, I'm done. So it's like, this is done. I'm as done as I'm going to be, and I just kept walking and walked on out and never looked back. Okay, here's one from Cameron, Kammhron. We know you're a big fan of Johnson amps, but what do you think about their guitars? They don't make guitars. AXL makes some cheap brand called Johnson. Not the same thing. There's another amp company called Johnson out. Not the same company. Johnson only made these amplifiers, and that they all say Johnson amplification. So it's AXL is the company that makes these cheap ass Johnson guitars. So different company altogether. And that's that. Let's go to Derek Hedgewood. Which Digitech rack unit, if any, is basically a Johnson Millennium without a power amp or speakers? Closest one's the 2120, and that's what I use live most of the time. So it's got a good preamp and most the same effects as this, and then I use the Control 1 foot controller for it, and that's what they wanted to use for it. It's actually not a modeling setup, but it's a great rig. I really like that one, so I use that for 90% of my gigs. And finally, the very last question that was asked on the original set of questions, and I'm going to keep going. I've got a few more pages here that people have asked since, but I only answer the questions that are on the original page, not any of your questions that you've posted on the answers 1 through 17, because those are answer pages, not places to ask more questions. The place to ask more questions is where you ask the original questions. So those other ones, they don't get answered, unless I just am looking for something to do. And this here's from Mr. Straticus. I love that name, Mr. Strat A-C-U-S. Mr. Straticus. Great name, dude. I see a cowboy hat, and it might be a telly. It's little tiny black and white photos for me. I do everything in black and white only. No need for color. Hey, Scott. Hey, Mr. Straticus. I have had a couple of communications with you over the last year, and I agree with most of your opinions. You gotta agree with them all because they're right. My question is, are you into trading guitars? No, not at all. Not at all. I have seen a guitar that I would be interested in if you still have it, and I have a guitar I'm sure you would be interested in, but I would prefer to discuss this by private messaging, which we can do, but I buy guitars. But would like my question answered in your video. Thank you. Yeah, I don't trade guitars at all. I can't think of anything here that I would get rid of for any reason at all. So, I mean, I would, buy a guitar any day of the week, and I pay now because I can. So, give me a shout. Easiest way is to go to MRS, so the abbreviation for Mr. Mrs. MRS, followed by woodworker, because I build wood stuff, so woodworker, Mr. Mrs. MRS, woodworker at AOL.com. And that's my direct email, instead of all these other Groovy DJs at AOL.com and Groovy Lessons or all the other Strato Blaster 64s and all the other emails I have. So the Mr. and Mrs. Woodworker at AOL.com is the way to find me. Doing a PM through this place, I hardly ever answer a question that sends me or leaves on my channel or writes me via YouTube. I hardly ever, you know, I'm more apt to answer one in a video than I am way before I would ever answer a personal message thing. So the email, the Mr. and Mrs. Woodworker thing, is the best way to get a hold of me. Okay, so it took exactly 20 videos to take care of the original thing. Go figure. Okay, so I'm going to come back and do hit the rest of these and call it good. So what I have left here is what I'm going to answer, and that will be it for these for now. Okay, and then I will just shut down the comment section for that whole video and just put it private or whatever, and it'll still be there for later in case I decide to open it again. So again, more of these coming up. Don't think I'm done yet. So I'm going to answer these other few pages, which are how many pages of questions? 13 pages of questions I'm going to answer again. So I'll get on it right now. Okay, Scott Grove, GroovyMusicLessons.com. Come by and get some free videos and just check out. There's so many things on there. Great lessons for free. Great paid ones that are way different than my free ones. I actually take them seriously. More seriously. Every guitar review I've ever done is on there, and by brand names. So if you want Ibanez, you know, there's like 30 different Ibanez reviews right there, and you don't have to go searching through everywhere. If you want to just check out what guitars I have, they're all there, and just pictures of each of them, descriptions of them, and so much more. So come check it out. Again, GroovyMusicLessons.com. That was hour number 20, hour 21, coming right up. All right.